You're bigger than I am. You're tall. You're too tall. Can you scoot
I'm too
down
tall.
about? Yeah, you're too tall.
Um,
You're about a foot taller than
hold
I
on.
am. Maybe
Hold
you are
on.
in real.
I
Okay,
don't want to be that tall.
we're
There
live
you go.
streaming.
Is that better for you?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is We Dish Too Saucy, TOO, because we're too saucy, we like to think. Dames, Bonnie G and Sherry M. We're happy to be back. This is episode number 2 of this silly conversation that we decided to have because we want to be real people and not seasoned business people all the time. Right, Sherry?
Although we are seasoned business people.
We are. Do you want to, Sherry? I ran the audienceometer and I found out that there were 14.37928 people in the world who didn't see us the last time about a week and a half ago and don't remember who you are. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. Can you
That is
talk to those?
shocking,
I,
actually.
well, it's insulting. It's just,
Yes.
can you please reintroduce yourself and then we'll get
Sure.
started?
I'm an executive leader. I work in corporate communications today, but my background is in technology, specifically SAP technology. And I manage that. I also manage human resources. So I've done a lot of different things in my time. I'm a mom, I'm a grandma now, and I'm a friend and a sister. So a lot of different things, a lot of different hats.
I like that. Next time we'll wear hats. I have a whole collection
Okay.
of hats. There you go. And I'm Bonnie D, Bonnie G, Bonnie D Graham, aka Radio Red. I'm a live radio broadcaster. People say, "Oh, I'm going to put myself on speaker view here for a second." I'm a live radio broadcaster, and now it's showing Sherry, so it doesn't work for the owner of the Zoom. I'm a broadcaster, and people say, "Oh, you have a podcast." I say, "No, I do live radio. I don't varnish it. I don't edit it. We don't stop and start. We don't put it into some kind of a mixer and say, oh, we didn't like that word. It's just real deal. I call it Sherry. Not it's authentic. I get tired of the word authentic. I think it's overused. And we're going to talk about that.
We'll make a new one.
There we go. I'm a creator, producer, host, storyteller, moderator. I'm a writer, an artist, a little bit of a ghostwriter. Maybe there's a little ghost in me. A drummer with red boots, a poet. I'm currently participating in the Writer's Digest PAD Challenge, poem a day for the month of April. If you're interested, email me at bonnieradio@gmail and I'll tell you where to find it. It's a lot of fun. It's free. I create the 3-minute soundbite roundtable with executives, with analysts, with smart, savvy people all over the world on artificial intelligence and other topics that we all want to know about. I'm an early woman in tech, and as I said, I'm a red boots drummer, and I wear my red boots to the supermarket. Sherry, what do you think of that? Can you imagine? I actually wear my red booties to the supermarket, and people say, "Oh, look
It
at you."
depends. I mean, I've gone to Walmart in pajamas. So,
Oh, what kind of pajamas?
well, decent ones, but, late at night, and they were open 24/7. This was years ago when my daughter worked in the subway that was inside the Walmart. And she would call me and say, come over and see me. I'm working till 11. I'd be like, I'm in my pajamas. And she'd say, it's Walmart. Okay.
Those of you who love Walmart, don't think anything less than it's a wonderful place where you can wear your
No, but
pajamas.
you don't have to dress up to go to Walmart.
I always dress up when I go to the market. I look like this when I go to except for the flower. I don't wear the flower. So our theme today, Sherry, we started out with life gets in the way. Then we talked about pet peeves for our theme. And I think we're going to do life gets in the way peeves. Do you like
Okay.
that? So
Okay. I'm game for any.
LGITW-P, life gets in the way peeves. So Sherry, you're going to start out with the word perfect. Let's make this fast and furious. Last time we did about 12 minutes. Let's see if we can beat the clock today. Go ahead, Sherry.
Beat the
What
clock.
about what about perfect?
I can't stand when someone in business says to everything you say, perfect, perfect. I always want to say, is it really? What's perfect? And there are some people that use it ad nauseum for everything. And I don't understand it. And it's mostly the younger generation. So I don't want to diss on them. There must be something to it, but I just don't like it.
I know a lot of people say no problem. Okay, well,
Yeah, that's the other one.
we'll
Mhm.
get into restaurants later. One of my pet peeves, my life gets in the way, is people who say sort of, right, and like, and especially when I'm listening to news radio, analyst radio, or TV, and somebody will say, uh, she sort of wrote a book with 5 characters. I sort of attended a conference. Well, how are you today? Well, they're not saying I'm well. They're just saying well instead of saying I'm fine, thank you.
That's
Uh,
buying time.
like, 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 uh,
Like, Like is a
like
good
I
one.
love radio, like I like Walmart. It's like, what is it like? We're not doing similes and metaphors, but the one that gets me mostly is the sort of, and I hear very educated broadcasters saying, this person is sort of an analyst, and they sort of went to this world conference, and they sort of have a point of view on Davos, and they sort of had five people in the room, and I'm thinking, well, what? What? And the other word, this is really going to irk people, the word some. I'd like some water. Well, do you want all the water or some water? Are you talking about an ocean? I want some French fries. Well, how many or some? Do you want a little portion? You want all the French fries in the I I'm sorry. Sherry, let's go to life gets in the way number two. You're talking about snow days that aren't. Please
Which may
elaborate.
not relate to people in the South or in other parts of the world where they don't get snow. But here, growing up in Pennsylvania, like a snow day was amazing. You didn't have school, there was no cars on the road. It was like, think about how COVID was for 2 years and imagine that getting that 1 day break. And it was fantastic. All the kids in the neighborhood would be out sledding, skating, whatever, even shoveling snow. We didn't care. It was just such
Mhm.
a great relief. The kids since COVID don't get snow days. They get virtual school days. So they don't ever get off. They have to go to
Oh,
school because now we have the capability, we have the technology, they can do it. They usually have to go to classes from home.
I didn't
Summer.
realize that that's what you were talking about. That's interesting.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
way, when I was living in Queens, New York, which is one of the boroughs of New York City, going to where was I? Bayside High School, a bus ride away. On snow days, it was optional to go, and I would declare to my mother, "I'm going to school." There was a bus. It did come, managed to get down the side streets. I went, and it was a blast because there were maybe 60 kids out of 1,200 in the whole school, and only two or three teachers showed up. And we had
Right.
conversations. And I loved the snow days because they didn't close the school in those days. They kept the
And the
school.
other thing they used to do here was do late starts. But you'd get to school like two classes late. Every class after that was compressed time. It was such a waste of time. But you could check the box and say you had a school day. You
There you
didn't.
go. I want to switch the seasons for my number two. Life gets in the way. Talking about springtime, I'm here in Tennessee. I bought a beautiful corner property with what I call 4 yards, literally the front, the right side, the left side, and the back. They all need to be maintained. The water needs the irrigation system and the lawn treatment. I had no idea what I was getting into. I bought the house on Zoom, Sherry, and I never set foot in the state of Tennessee till the day I went to close on the house. And I said, "Oh my God, what did I buy?" Anyway, the point is, I have plants from Charlie, the previous owner who passed away last year, and he planted everything and anything and all the borders and all the front of the house, the side. Well, surprise, 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 two magnificent hibiscus trees, or maybe you say hibiscus, showed up in the front border. And one day I noticed a woman, a lot of people walk their dogs. I don't have a dog. Woman's walking and she's getting her dog very close to this little retaining wall, about 18 inches high, in front of my property at the street level. And she's pulling seeds out of my hibiscus. And I went out and I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I like yours. Mine are little tiny hibiscus. Yours are 6 feet tall with hundreds of blooms that are 14 inches in diameter. I want some seeds." I said, "Well, okay, you can just ask." Then I had this little retaining wall rebuilt by my landscaper with beautiful 6 by 6 pre-treated wood. It was very crumbling from Charlie. It was falling apart and it didn't look nice. Well, when he dug up the soil, which had some bulbs in it, to move this old wood fence, if you will, as I said, it's only 18 inches tall. I call it a little retaining fence, and
Yeah.
put the new wood in, he needed to move the dirt so that things didn't tumble out. Well, he unearthed, literally unearthed some plants. People started stopping by and asking the landscaper, "Can I have that? Can I have that?" They wanted to take, it's my house, my property. I pay the taxes, my land. I paid him. And they're asking the landscaper, "Could I have that?" And he told me later, and I said, "But I own that's mine." I don't know. This went on, and one woman had the nerve to stop by and say, "If you're digging up Bonnie's hibiscus trees, I'd like those." They didn't talk.
Whoa.
Yes. And she saw me. She saw me a week later. She drove by in her car and she said, "I was asking if I could have your hibiscus trees." I said, "Really, Helen? No, I'm keeping them. Thank you very much." Any
Well, I
comments on
guess
that,
some
Sherry?
people would get rid of stuff like that. And so they might assume that, but that's bold.
Thank you. I thought so too. Nervy,
That's
yes.
bold.
Sherry, your next life gets in the way is people who don't tip waitresses. Oh my, tell us.
And I know there's some sensitivity around this because I know people feel like I shouldn't have to tip the waitress. But these people don't get paid much at all. My daughter-in-law was a waitress and they get below minimum wage, like really bare minimum payment. And they rely on tips. Now, if they do a good job, they can make a decent living at that and they can raise their single women have been able to raise their kids with that, which is great. But I've been in restaurants where, something happened back in the kitchen. There was a screw up with the order. It's not the waitress's fault. And I've heard people berate waitresses for that, which in itself in public really upsets me. And then, you could hear them saying they're not going to give her a tip. And it's not her fault. I mean, we've already gone over to the waitress and said, I heard what was going on. Here's $20 and tipped her ourselves because that's their livelihood, and
Yep.
it's not their fault usually.
And we rely on them to bring the
Yeah.
food to us and to be pleasant to a degree and to listen to hold the toast, hold the mayo, hold the this, the famous, I want this, don't give me anything else. And what's on the menu? Speaking of restaurant, Sherry, went to lunch at a restaurant here about a year ago when I moved in with a group of women who were having a monthly lunch and I was invited to join. The restaurant was basically empty. And before we were done eating, the waiter came to take our plates and then shoved the checks in front of us. I looked around. We had three tables of four each. There were 12 women. There was almost nobody else in the restaurant. And I thought, excuse me, I'm still eating. I had my chopsticks in my hands. It was a Thai restaurant. And I couldn't understand why they were in a hurry to get rid of us when we were the only customers. That to me was a pet life gets in the way. And I said, no, I'm going to continue to eat. The food was decent. Anyway, any thoughts on that, Sherry?
So was it really the owner of the place or was it somebody
It
who
was the
was
staff. It was
trying to
the
get off their
wait
yes,
staff.
maybe they're trying to get home, get off their shift. They probably thought the restaurant's empty. I'm going to get out of here on time tonight. And then you come in.
It was 12:30 in the afternoon. It was afternoon. It was daytime. Anyway,
Yeah, that
I've
is rude.
I've never gone back. Bold and rude. I have one more peeve. I think we've covered everything we planned. Mine is lettuce. And by the way,
Okay.
couple of people are actually watching us live stream on LinkedIn. I can see the number there. Whoever you are, thank you. I hope you're having fun with this. We're happy today. And it's April 1st. No fooling. Sherry, lettuce is my life gets in the way. Sometimes, and I don't do it much anymore, you buy the packaged lettuce and it's not cheap that they've already pre-cut into bite-sized pieces. So you can make an instant salad.
Yeah.
Whether it has the little packet of dressing or the crunchies or all that, I just buy the plain. Well, I my peeve is that I think they should put a warning on the package. Open and eat in the next 23 minutes or it's going to go bad on you. I expect at least 2 days in my refrigerator that I'll still have, because I look through the plastic and see that it looks like good, clean, fresh lettuce. Within 48 hours, it's all orange and brown and
A
pink.
tip for you, I like to buy the prepared lettuce that's in a plastic box instead of the bags. I think the bags get smashed as they're pushing them into the refrigerator case. So yeah, I think those always look awful.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Ah,
that.
use the box.
I bought hydroponic, by the way. I bought
Those are
hydroponic
nice.
bib lettuce, butter lettuce, and I am attempting, and I successfully attempted last week to make what Cheesecake Factory serves as the Thai lettuce wraps because I was there with friends recently
Ah,
and I made my own peanut sauce and my own sweet and sour for the cucumbers and
did
the
you?
sprouts. And I take one or two or three of the leaves off the hydroponic butter lettuce in the plastic dish with the roots still attached. And
Yeah,
I rinse them and pat them dry. And then I put a little piece of air fried or baked chicken on the middle and add some I'll call them seasoned cucumber slices and sprouts and then put a little peanut sauce on top and then roll it up and then eat it over a plate because it's all over the place. But
right.
so
That
I'm
sounds
now
wonderful. I might try that.
I'll send you the recipe. So Sherry, anything else you wanna share?
I could go on with pet peeves, but let's just close it out for today. And
Well, I want to close it out with a poem because I
okay,
mentioned I belong to this poetry group and I write a little limerick every time, and it's going to be every day now, and then I write a more serious poem. So I'd like to read this one, and I hope nobody gets offended. It's called Hip Hip Hooray. There once was a poetess named Red, that's me, on this April 1st, before all's done and said, she asked her neighbors' garden gnomes if they've ever written optimistic poems. That was the theme today. And they replied, no fooling, now go back to bed. And that's all I'm going to say. Sherry, it's been fun. You're going to do we going to do this later this week or next week?
I'll
How
do it
often?
again. Yes.
We obviously have
Set it
to know
up.
this. There are 3 people in the world who are watching us.
There's
So
3 people who like us or
thank
are
you very
amused.
much. No
Bye for
fooling.
now.
Okay, don't go away, Sherry. We're going to debrief here. Bye all. Stop this. I don't have an engineer to stop